My husband emptied out our savings and vanished the same night I was grading final essays in the kitchen. I didn't see it coming, not that night, not like that. No warning, no fight. Just the soft scrape of suitcase wheels across the hallway tiles. And the way he didn't look me in the eyes when I asked where he was going. Ethan. He kept stuffing clothes into his duffel like we were mid-evacuation. What's going on? Silence. Then, without looking at me, what I should have done a long time ago. That sentence cracked something open. After 19 years of marriage, this was it? A backpack full of button-ups in that line? I reached for his arm. He pulled away like I was someone he barely remembered. You're scaring me, I whispered. Say something. He finally turned his face toward me, but it wasn't his face anymore. Cold. Hollow. Done. I'm leaving, Jenna. And I'm not coming back. I couldn't process the words. Hours earlier we were talking about our daughter's college interviews over dinner. He kissed my temple like always. Now he was walking out of our life like it was a hotel he'd overstayed in. Are you seeing someone else? I asked, voice already cracking. He paused, just for a second, like the truth brushed up against his lips before retreating. This isn't about anyone. It's about me needing to breathe. But I saw it then. The months of turned-over phones, those business trips, that went quiet after 8 p.m. The excuses I filed away instead of confronting. It all hit me like a wave I'd ignored until I was choking in it. Where are you even going? I'll figure it out. He zipped the bag and stood. But I need you to transfer my half of the savings into my personal account. That's when my hands started shaking. Your half. I repeated. You mean the account we built together? The one with Riley's college fund in it? No answer. Just the sound of the front door unlocking. I ran downstairs barefoot. Riley was in the kitchen pouring cereal, her backpack already at her feet. 16, calm, observant, too smart for her own good. Is Dad leaving? She asked without turning around. He's just taking a break, I said. I didn't even believe it myself. It was a lie meant for both of us. I grabbed my laptop, logged into our joint account. Checking. $311.74. Savings, $0. College fund, $0. I refreshed the page. Once. Twice. Still zeros. Transaction history showed it clearly. 3 days ago, while I was chaperoning a school trip, Ethan had logged in and cleaned us out. All of it. Not half. Not his share. Every single cent. Including the $68,000 we'd been saving since Riley was born. I stared at the screen as if refreshing it again would undo it. As if that could bring back the man I thought I married. Behind me, Riley's spoon clinked softly against her bowl. Mom! I turned. She looked up at me, calm, measured. The kind of look you only see in people who already know what happened. Don't worry, she said, almost too casually. I handled it. Handled what? I wanted to laugh. Or cry. Or scream. Maybe all three. She was just a teenager. How could she possibly have handled anything? But something in her voice made me pause. No fear. No confusion. Just certainty. I'll be late for the bus, she added, grabbing her keys. We can talk tonight. And just like that, she walked out, ponytail swinging, as if her father hadn't just stolen her future and walked out of our lives. That afternoon I didn't go to work. I sat in the living room with the curtains drawn, staring at the grainy shadows shifting across the hardwood floor. The silence in the house felt too clean. Like everything Ethan had touched had been scrubbed out along with our money. The coffee pot was still warm. His toothbrush was gone. For hours I kept refreshing the bank portal as if the numbers might reappear. As if maybe this was all some error, and our account would go back to normal. But each time I logged in, the total stared back like a verdict. $311.74. I couldn't cry. Not yet. Maybe not at all. I just kept thinking about Riley's voice that morning. Don't worry. I handled it. Handled what? That night she came home from school like nothing had changed. Hair in a messy braid, hoodie sleeves pulled over her hands, earbuds tucked into her collar. Hey, I said softly from the hallway. Can we talk? She paused just long enough to make me nervous, then nodded and stepped into the kitchen. Are you okay? I asked, studying her face. She looked older than she had that morning. Maybe because now I was seeing her through different eyes. I'm fine, she said. pouring herself a glass of water. Are you? No, I admitted. But I'm trying. She nodded like that was enough. Riley, what did you mean this morning? When you said you handled it? Her expression didn't shift. No smile, no avoidance. Just steady eye contact. I mean, I knew what Dad was planning. Weeks ago. The room tilted. You knew. Yeah, she said simply. I found out about his account activity. And the woman he's been seeing. My legs almost gave out. I gripped the back of a chair. How? I noticed changes. He started locking his phone, deleting messages. Then he left his laptop open one day, while he was on a call in the backyard. She looked down at her glass. He didn't think I'd understand what I saw. I sank into a chair. What exactly did you see? Riley set her water down and reached into her backpack. A simple spiral notebook. When she opened it, my breath caught. Printed screenshots. Handwritten notes. Email threads. Dates. Times. Bank records. Travel bookings. Even names I didn't recognize. I started following the money, she said. At first I just wanted to know if I was imagining things. But the deeper I looked, the worse it got. She flipped to a page that showed a wire transfer. Our daughter's college fund. Moved into an unfamiliar brokerage account. Ethan's name on the authorization line. He didn't just empty the accounts, she said. He used your social security number to open a second line of credit. And mine too. I couldn't breathe. You're 16, I whispered. He used your identity? Riley nodded once. He and that woman, her name's Melanie Foster by the way, they were trying to buy a place in Florida. Under fake paperwork. Using us to make it look like they had more financial backing. My mouth went dry. How do you know all this? I accessed his cloud storage, she said quietly. The one he thinks is private. He reuses passwords. It wasn't hard. You hacked him. No, she corrected calmly. I investigated him. I stared at my daughter and realized I didn't know her at all. When were you planning to tell me? I didn't want to scare you until I had something solid. And I didn't want to come to you with suspicions. I wanted proof. She sounded like a detective. Or a journalist. Not a teenager. Riley, I said slowly. This isn't your responsibility. Her eyes didn't flinch. It is when someone tries to steal my life and yours. I couldn't argue with that. Not when the man I married had tried to erase us and failed. Only because our daughter was smarter than both of us combined. Did he ever know you were watching? She hesitated. No. But I think he's about to find out. The call came 3 days later. It was a Tuesday just past 2 in the afternoon. I was wiping down the kitchen counters when my phone buzzed and Ethan's name flashed across the screen. My heart kicked once, then again. I hadn't heard his voice since the morning he left. I let it ring almost too long before answering. Jenna. His voice was strained. Not like the man who walked out with a suitcase. This voice was tight, nervous, like something had gone wrong. We need to talk. Something's happening. I didn't say anything. I could hear him breathing. My bank called, he continued. They froze my accounts. Said they flagged some transfers for federal review. I don't understand what's going on. I walked to the window, pulled back the curtain. Riley was at the kitchen table typing something fast, focused. Her laptop open, several tabs blinking on the screen. I'm not sure what you want me to say, I said carefully. It's not just the money, he added quickly. Melanie lost her job yesterday. They walked her out with security. Someone sent her boss documents. Private things. I don't even know how they got them. My stomach twisted, but I kept my voice even. What kind of documents? Financial records. Client files. Screenshots from our private emails. His voice lowered. This wasn't just some HR complaint, Jenna. It was targeted. Riley stood and quietly crossed the room. She didn't interrupt. She just opened the fridge, poured orange juice, and returned to her seat, still typing. Still listening. Ethan's voice turned desperate. I think someone's coming after us. That's when I felt it, the shift. The power imbalance he hadn't noticed until it was too late. Why would someone come after you, Ethan? I asked. Is there something you're not telling me? He went quiet. Then, you know there is. I closed my eyes. Melanie thinks it might be someone from her office, he said quickly. She had this intern who was acting strange. Or maybe someone she fired. But the thing is, Jenna, someone's in my systems. Right now. What do you mean? I'm on my computer. Emails are opening on their own. Things are getting deleted while I watch. It's like someone's inside my account. I didn't speak. I didn't have to. Behind me, I heard Riley's keyboard click once. Then again. Ethan's breath came faster. Someone just sent an email from my account. To my boss. I don't even know what it said. Jenna, this is bad. This is really, really bad. A pause. Did you hire someone? A pie? A tech guy? No, I said honestly. Because if you did, I'm not mad, I get it, but they need to stop. This is illegal. They're impersonating me, Jenna. They're destroying my life. Riley closed one tab, opened another. I caught a glimpse, spreadsheet, email log, photo attachment, before she angled the screen away from me. They're posting things, Ethan said, his voice cracking. Real things. Bank statements. Texts between me and Melanie. Private conversations. They're leaking everything. I could feel Riley's presence behind me. Not tense, not emotional. Just focused. I don't know what's happening, Ethan whispered. But someone's turning my entire life inside out. There was silence. Then Riley stood and came toward me. She held out her hand for the phone. I hesitated, then gave it to her. Hi, Dad, she said, voice level. He froze. I heard it in the quiet. Riley? Oh, thank God. Listen to me, something's wrong. You need to tell your mom to stop this. It's gone too far. I'm not stopping anything, she said simply. And neither is she. A beat. Wait, Ethan said, his voice rising. You? Riley, what are you talking about? You used my name and my social security number to apply for a mortgage. You stole my college fund. You forged documents and pretended we wouldn't notice. Silence. I don't know where you're getting this from, but you're misunderstanding. No, she interrupted. I'm not. I've been watching you. For weeks. You and Melanie. And I've documented everything. Riley, he said, barely audible now. You're 16. You don't know what you're doing. She didn't even flinch. You taught me that actions have consequences. Remember? I'm just making sure you experience yours. He exhaled shakily. Riley, I'm sorry. I was going to fix it. I didn't want anyone to get hurt. You wanted to leave quietly and let us deal with the damage, she said. You thought I was just some kid who wouldn't notice. She handed the phone back to me without another word. Ethan had already hung up. That night I couldn't sleep. I lay in the dark listening to the wind scrape against the window screen and the occasional creak of the house settling. Every sound felt louder now. The heater clicking on. The hum of the refrigerator. The faint tapping of keys from down the hall. Riley was still awake. I could hear her typing. It was nearly midnight. I thought about going to her room, asking her to close her laptop to rest, to be 16 for just a minute. But I didn't move. I stayed in bed and stared at the ceiling, trying to process what my daughter had just done. And what it meant. She hadn't just confronted her father. She had taken apart his life piece by piece. Calmly. Without hesitation. And it wasn't over. The next morning, she came downstairs at 7:03, fully dressed, her hair in a tight braid, backpack slung over one shoulder. Her breakfast, a protein bar and black coffee, was already in hand. Morning, she said like it was any other school day. I nodded. You slept. A little. She checked the weather on her phone. Rain. She grabbed her jacket. Riley, I started. She looked up, expectant but patient. I need to ask you something. And I want you to be honest. Okay. Are you angry? She blinked, then tilted her head slightly. At Dad. At everything. A pause. No, she said finally. Not angry. Just done. The words landed like stones. I studied her face for cracks, signs of heartbreak, confusion, grief, but there was nothing. Just that eerie steadiness. I don't want you to carry this alone, I said gently. I'm not. She gave me a small, almost pitying smile. You just haven't realized how heavy it already is. And with that, she kissed my cheek and walked out the door. That evening I called my sister. The only person I trusted enough to say the words out loud. Liz, something's going on with Riley, I said as I stood by the kitchen window, phone pressed to my ear. What do you mean? She's too calm, too in control. Like this doesn't touch her at all. I heard Liz sigh. Some kids internalize, she said. Especially the smart ones. They process everything quietly under the surface. Yeah, but it's more than that. She's not reacting. She's operating. Upstairs, I heard Riley's fingers flying across her keyboard again. The sound never stopped now. Every night, the same rhythm. Not angry or frantic. Just constant. Like she was solving a problem no one else could see. Later, I brought her dinner. Grilled cheese and tomato soup. The comfort food I always made when she had a hard day at school. She barely looked up when I came in. Thanks, Mom, she said, closing one browser window before I could glance at the screen. Can you leave it on the nightstand? I set it down and looked around. Her room was immaculate. Desk arranged with geometric precision. Folders labeled. Notebooks stacked by size. It didn't look like a teenager's room. It looked like mission control. What are you working on? Just homework. Anything I can help with? She shook her head. I've got it. I stood there a little too long. She noticed. Something else. I hesitated. Then, how far are you planning to go with this? Her eyes met mine. Unflinching. As far as I need to. Those 5 words stayed with me long after I left her room. I couldn't stop replaying them in my mind. I had spent so long being the adult. The protector. The one who shielded her from harm. Now I wasn't sure who was shielding who. And worse, I wasn't sure if I should stop her. Or let her finish what she'd started. It was Thursday afternoon when I got the second call. Same name on the screen. But this time I didn't hesitate. Jenna, Ethan said, barely holding it together. You have to make it stop. I'm begging you. I walked into the hallway, away from the kitchen where Riley was watching something on her laptop with headphones in. She didn't even glance up. What are you talking about? I asked. My company. They're launching a full investigation. Human resources, IT security, legal. I've been suspended. Indefinitely. Without pay. His voice cracked. And Melanie? She's losing everything. Clients are dropping her one after another. Some anonymous email went out to her entire contact list with full documentation of every shady deal she's ever touched. I didn't answer right away. I could hear the panic under his words, not guilt. Just fear. I don't understand, he whispered. How does a teenager know how to do all this? Where did she learn it? She paid attention, I said quietly. There was a long pause. She's just a kid. She's a kid you stole from, I corrected. And she's not interested in forgiveness. I heard something slam in the background, maybe the car door, maybe a cabinet. I didn't ask. Her grandfather, Melanie's father. He got a letter. A thick envelope. With spreadsheets. Screenshots. Audio clips. I felt something sink in my stomach. He's threatening to pull his funding, cut her off. Said the family names on the line. Ethan's voice dropped to a whisper. She's not even answering my calls anymore. My hand tightened around the phone. What did you think would happen, Ethan? That you'd vanish with her, empty our accounts, and we'd just recover quietly. I thought we'd fix it. I thought once things settled. You thought we'd forget. I cut in. He didn't deny it. She was the one, he said finally. Melanie. I thought she was my second chance. I almost laughed, but it came out as something sharper. And now? I asked. His voice was hollow. She won't talk to me. She says I dragged her down with me. That I promised I had things under control. And did you? No, he admitted. Riley did. I stood in the hall, my back against the wall, the phone hot against my ear. Ethan, I said slowly, this is just the beginning. That night, Riley stayed up later than usual. I heard her printing things in the dining room, pages sliding out of the printer one by one. When I peeked in, she had them stacked neatly on the table, stapled, labeled. Some were marked legal. Others, IRS. One had fraud report handwritten in clean block letters. I watched from the doorway. Need help? I asked. She didn't flinch. Almost done. What are you going to do with those? Send them. To who? She turned one page toward me. A letter addressed to the Financial Crimes Division of the Department of Justice. Riley, I stepped in. Do you really think it has to go that far? She looked at me then. Really looked. He built a house of lies, Mom. I'm just making sure it collapses. I stared at her. My daughter. The one who used to sleep with a nightlight. The one who cried when her goldfish died. Now she was building legal cases and mailing evidence to federal agencies. Doesn't any part of this scare you? I asked. No, she said, standing to gather the folders. But it should scare him. It all unraveled quickly after that. Melanie's license was suspended. Her employer issued a public statement distancing the firm from her actions. By the end of the week, 3 separate clients had filed formal complaints, all citing the same anonymous package of evidence. Riley had sent everything exactly where it needed to go. As for Ethan, he stopped calling. I heard through a former colleague that he was living out of his car in North Carolina, unable to rent a place due to his frozen credit. His LinkedIn went dark. His social media accounts, the curated posts of brunches, beach views, and clever captions, were replaced by silence. It was as if he'd been erased. One afternoon, Riley came home from school with a stack of books and a calm expression. I'm speaking at the Cybersecurity Club next week, she said while unpacking. They want me to walk them through digital footprint protection. Basics for teens. I nodded slowly. Is that something you want to do? It's something I wish someone had done for me sooner. She disappeared into her room. A few minutes later, I passed by and saw her typing at her desk, 2 monitors glowing with spreadsheets and articles. The screen title read, Family Financial Betrayal, Red Flags, Digital Traces, and How to Fight Back. That night, as I tucked in early, Riley knocked gently on my door. Can I ask you something? Of course. Are you ashamed of me? For what I did? The question pierced deeper than I expected. I sat up, heart in my throat. No, Riley. I'm not ashamed. She nodded, but her eyes didn't leave mine. Then why do you keep looking at me like you're not sure who I am anymore? I didn't answer right away. Because the truth was, I wasn't sure. Not in a bad way. Not in a fearful way. But in the way a person realizes they've been living next to something vast, something silent and powerful, and only just now noticed the shadow it cast. You did what you thought was right, I said. You protected us. When I couldn't. She came over and sat at the edge of the bed. I don't feel bad about any of it, she admitted. He lied. He stole. And if I hadn't done what I did, he would have gotten away with it. I know. But sometimes, she looked down at her hands. I wonder if I became someone else in the process. I reached for her hand. Maybe you became the version of yourself that the world required. She looked up, and for a moment, just a moment, she looked like the little girl I remembered. Then it was gone. The next day, she woke up early, dressed in her usual black jeans and neat ponytail, and caught the bus like it was any other school day. Only it wasn't. Because now, she wasn't just a girl who'd been betrayed. She was someone who could tear apart a life with nothing but a keyboard and a plan. And no one, not her father, not his mistress, not even me, had seen her coming.